Happy Monday, everybody. Countdown to the Cup, 7 days.
Oh,
I'm Jim Williams along with Sean Miller, and we are here to help you get ready for World Cup 2022. Sean, how was your weekend, buddy?
it's always better when Manchester United wins. That was good. That was pretty interesting. And then got the World Cup coming up here, so always a good time. So we'll see.
We have, for everybody who's interested in playing, we have the FIFA World Cup Bracket Challenge. And Sean and I thought that we'd take a look at some of the groups and, break them down one group at a time and get your feelings on it as well. So without any further ado, let's take a look at Group A, okay? Here's Group A: Qatar, Senegal, Ecuador, and Holland. So what are your thoughts there, big guy?
When you right away, I mean, the first thing, Netherlands obviously clear favorite to win the
Right.
group. They should win pretty easily, and then the winner of this group will face the runner-up of Group B in the round of 16. So maybe it could be Netherlands and America, but the team maybe to watch out for here is Senegal. The host team usually goes through. The only time it didn't was 2010 with South Africa. Qatar is going to be in the same kind of boat here. Their squad is probably not good enough. The interesting thing is that first match, Qatar, Ecuador. They were about plus 105. Now they're plus 132 when you look at the odds in this game, which is a little bit weird to me. Senegal, Sadio Mane, obviously really good player for Liverpool, and then now for Bayern Munich. He's going to be, this Senegal team is a little bit dangerous. I think if Senegal comes through as the second place team and then has to play England in that round of 16, because the runner-up of Group A faces the winner of Group B, could be a lot of trouble for England. Very talented team. So it's interesting. Ecuador really a little bit of a they got in. They qualified through CONMEBOL, which is always tough. But a little controversy surrounding them getting in with an illegal player. But now that they're there, I think, it could be an interesting game. They play Ecuador and Senegal plays the third match, I believe. So that'll be huge, obviously. I don't think either of them beat the Netherlands, so that maybe that third game will be for head-to-head. So it could be really big.
My thoughts on Qatar is that they're only gonna get points if they draw. I don't see their win anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was thinking they might. This was my thought. They might get a draw against Ecuador, maybe, but I've seen them play, and there's no reason in my mind to believe that they are going to. This is. You've got an interesting point. This is a group where, let's take the Netherlands, Holland out of it for the moment.
Yeah.
You got three wild cards, actually two wild cards, Ecuador and Senegal, where, anything can happen with those two. I don't think there's anything that can happen with Qatar other than not winning. But Senegal and Ecuador, there's just enough weirdness there to for anything to happen. And, so it's going to be fun to see how that plays out. But I don't think that the Netherlands is going to break a sweat in this group.
Nah, I can't imagine this even being really. The second game, I believe, for both Netherlands plays Ecuador. Qatar plays Senegal, so Netherlands will get, they could be on 6 points facing the hosts, and that game might not even matter. So, I mean, that game could be, name a score. All the time for the third matches, they play at the same time, so there's no dodginess.
Right.
I would assume Netherlands is on 6 points going into that. I would think Netherlands probably wins the group with 9 points.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting because Netherlands to win the group is one of the higher odds here, minus 225. So,
well, there you go. And I think that part of it too is that the Clockwork Orange, I think, is back. I think they're playing really, really well.
They don't. The thing that bothers me, because I see them actually as a dark horse in this tournament. The thing that bothers me is I don't know who's going to score a goal for him. Memphis is obviously the Barcelona, but he's been injured. Cody Gakpo is more of a wide player. He's not really a 9. So the teams, when you look at the teams that are the favorites to win the tournament, Brazil, Argentina, France, England, they all have 9s. Harry Kane, Benzema, and France has 2. Argentina obviously has Messi playing false 9, but they have other players that can score goals. And then Brazil obviously has and so much attacking.
I was going to say, name that one. Brazil.
Yeah, and Neymar, and I mean they don't really, they also don't have that 9, but they just have they could put 6 attackers on the pitch, so it doesn't really matter. But
I was going to say they got midfielders who could be 9s.
Yeah, so like Netherlands, I just I think they're actually a really dangerous team in this tournament, but I just don't know who's going to score a goal if they had to face a France or a Brazil in the quarterfinals or a Argentina in the quarterfinals. Who's going to score a goal to outscore the other team?
Talking about France, is this French team as good as the one that won the cup most recently?
They might be better, to be honest, because the midfielders might be better. Tushmani and Camavinga playing both for Real Madrid. I mean, Tushmani is going to be in the starting lineup, I think. And Karim Benzema wasn't on the team last time, so he's the reigning Ballon d'Or winner. So I think for France, it's just a matter of the coach. It's always about the coach. Like, they didn't play well. They won the Nations League in 2021. They didn't play well in the Nations League and the qualifications leading up to this. Sometimes the coach gets in his own way, plays too defensive minded in some of these games because that's how he is a defensive midfielder. So, there's always the criticisms of Deschamps like that. I mean, if he just lets them go out there and play, I think nobody can compete with him, maybe except for Brazil. I mean, it's really hard to win back-to-back World Cups. It hasn't been done since 58 and 62 when Pele was on the team. And obviously a different world back then. So it's really, really tough. But I do think France has a chance to do it. And you're getting them at very good odds right now. They're almost double the odds of Brazil. And they have basically – Brazil and France have the same talent and basically the same squad to me. And I think Brazilian goalkeepers are a little bit better. But they're very even. And France is basically double the price of Brazil. So to me, I'm targeting both those teams in this tournament. But for me, if I'm going to try to get a value play, I would probably back France a little bit more, just because if they do end up going and winning, you're getting 8-1 instead of 4-1.
Well, and doing it now, basically because you get the opportunity to get it before they start playing. So you got a future bet.
Yeah, the thing is with this tournament, look, I mean, if you're looking at futures, and I know we have some people watching that are looking to start going through this stuff, there's really only about maybe 5 or 6 teams that can win. I actually think that's stretching it. Spain is up there, but I just think they're too young and don't have a 9. I think Germany, same kind of issue. A little bit older, don't have a 9. Netherlands, maybe. It's really just, of the teams that are down the list. I mean, Portugal could because they're so talented. France, Argentina, Brazil, England, maybe, but England has to play France in the quarterfinals, so only one of those two has gone through. And if I'm going to put my money on one of those teams, I'd rather back France because I just think they're more talented.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like I just wrote a story today for our guy Alex Costin and looking at the Super Bowl and the NFC and the AFC. I mean, the AFC right now, who for football, who knows? Like, I mean, I don't. I actually, the Bills are favored. I don't think the Bills are the best team at all anymore.
No.
And there's probably much better value with Kansas City, Baltimore, don't
sleep on the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Yeah. And even, there's some, I'm forgetting somebody, the Ravens, Baltimore. I think, it's interesting because for the World Cup, there's only really legitimately 3 or 4 teams that can win the cup. So everybody else is trying to play get to the quarters or get to the semis and stuff like that.
Well, and the other thing is, like in football, the other football, the football in our country, what happens is you can be a Cincinnati. You can get on a hot streak, and all of a sudden, you're in the Super Bowl and you beat teams that you shouldn't have beat.
Croatia is a good example from the 2018 World Cup. They got to the final, and then they got absolutely annihilated in the final. Like, they got to the point where to get to this final here, to win the final, you're going to have to beat like Brazil, Argentina, France, Spain, like 4 of these teams. And I just the only teams that I see that could do that are Brazil, France.
Right.
And the
same teams you named.
Yeah, it's the problem. And it's a closed club. I mean, when you look at this, I mean, it's a little bit like the Super Bowl in some respects lately. I mean, this is a closed club. These teams, Croatia came out of nowhere in 2010, Spain and Netherlands. But the last, 2018 was France and Croatia. Right. 2014 was Argentina and Germany. We just said 2006 was France and Italy. 2002 was Brazil and Germany. 1998 was France and Brazil. 1994 was France and Italy. Right. Italy, Germany. I mean, it just goes. It's been Argentina, Italy, Germany, France, Brazil. I mean, going back to 1940. Right. So it's not you can look at it and say, there's teams that pop up, but it's a closed club, and England won it one time when they hosted. Germany
1966.
Yeah, Netherlands got to some finals but never won it. Portugal's never been to a final. They've won the Euros, obviously. Belgium's never been to a final, and they're a little bit older. So, you could say, hey, Denmark's a good team. Maybe they're going to make a run to a semifinal, which could happen. But Denmark can't win 4 games in a row against these 4 tough teams. So the only teams that could do that are probably Brazil, Argentina, and France.
So it was Group B, the group of death, because USA, Wales, England, Iran.
It's the best group
so evenly balanced.
Yeah, I mean, with FIFA rankings, I mean, all the teams, England obviously top 5 or 6, but USA, France, and Wales Wales and Iran are all 17, 18, and number 20 in the world. So it's the toughest group to get through, and it's. For the U.S., I mean, the odds don't really show it. England's a huge -305. They're actually I think the biggest favorite other than Brazil to win their group. Right. But the England team's got a little bit of I don't know. They got some stuff going on. They got some injuries. They were terrible in the Nations League qualifying. For USA, it's the game Monday. If they beat Wales, they'll probably go through. If they lose to Wales, they'll probably be out. If they draw, it'll probably come down to the Iran game and hoping they beat Iran by more than Wales beat Iran. So, and Iran against America on the last day, if Iran isn't in it at that point, they would like nothing better than to knock America out. And if Iran does beat Wales and they have a chance, which they can because they're pretty good, then that game is gonna Iran's gonna be raring to go to win that game. So we actually don't play very well against Iran in the World Cup, which is interesting because they haven't really been good until now. But now they're top 20 in the world. So,
well, that does, you know, if nothing else, the headlines of Iran and the U.S. playing each other, it's just, that's going to get national news coverage, let alone sports coverage.
I saw something. There was a picture. There was an Iran. They have the scarves for the matches. Like that's. Yeah. I don't really collect autographs or whatever things, but I do collect programs. I collect scarves. So there's a half and half Iran USA scarf, which is interesting to say the least.
Yeah. I bet there's no half Wales, half England one.
Nah, yeah. Well, they have. For the tourists, when you go to Manchester United games, they have Manchester United Liverpool or Manchester United Manchester City, and it's just like, who the hell is gonna I'm not buying it. It's a joke. Like I'll buy it as a joke to give it to somebody, but like it's not for me. Like I have a lot of half and half scarves hanging in around here, but or I have a lot of scarves. That the only half and half ones I get are usually the ones from like Benfica. Like if I go to a Champions League game and it's not a Manchester United scarf,
right?
Because I'm a Manchester.
It's one thing to get a Champions final scarf where you get both sides.
I'm a Manchester United fan. I don't care about like.
It's like getting it's like getting a Yankees and Red Sox or Dodgers and Giants. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't want the opposing team.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're gonna the games start a week from today, and the USA and Wales kicking it off.
Yeah, it's just such a massive game here. You see all the bracket challenges in there. It's just such a big game for US. It's interesting because that first game on Sunday, there wasn't supposed to be a Sunday game. They moved it to Sunday where Peter's playing on there because usually the host always opens, and then they actually moved it. But the first day of games, or the first full day, I pull this up. For some reason, they don't have the 5 a.m. game that day. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's no 5 a.m. that first day because they moved it. So England plays Iran at 8.
Senegal bracket challenge.
Yeah, Senegal plays Netherlands. Once again, if the Netherlands is going to get beat, it's going to be that game. Mm-hmm. I think that could be high scoring. And then USA Wales, huge day because I just don't know. England's a huge favorite against Iran in that game, and I just don't know. They should win it, but like this Iran team, I just think people don't think this team is any good, and they're going to be very shocked when they see them play.
Well, let me go back to if history is anything, right? If we learned anything, in terms like this, it's always the first game where you're tentative, and if you have somebody who like in Iran, who plays and says, you know what, we got nothing to lose and everything to gain by, if England beats us by, 3 goals, that's the way we're supposed to be. But, when you've got nothing to lose, those are the most dangerous games you're going to play.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. And these teams. You see, the first game usually, it does come. There's been some upsets in that opening game, and the hosts are ready to go, and just even in South Africa, they scored a goal in that game. They didn't play great, but I just think that they're going to be ready to go. So that could be interesting.
Well, I've been listening to a number of radio programs in England, and they're already tamping down the expectations of getting out. They're not tamping down the fact that they should move through this bracket, but whether they're going to be number 1 or number 2, they're already tamping that down. And I can understand that one.
Yeah, if they don't get through the group as group champions, that guy should be fired on the spot. I mean, there's no way. There's just no way they should be anywhere other than leading the group here. But look, stranger things have happened, and we'll see. But I can't imagine that happening.
So when will all the teams be there? I mean,
I think they're flying
over the weekend.
Yeah, I think some of them are flying over there today, yesterday. I think I saw a bunch of photos online today of flights leaving and stuff like that. So I think you're gonna get some photo. Yeah, some. I think maybe tomorrow they'll be there, ready to train and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe they're gonna give them a couple days off. They don't need to do the camp per se, because I think they're coming in shape. Obviously, they just played a bunch of games, so it's not like June where some of these teams have been done for 3 weeks and they got to get back in shape. These guys all just played, so they should be ready to go.
And they're within 30 miles of each other, so they should.
Yeah, the games are exactly. So I think that's a big plus as well.
It's almost like a Canadian COVID bubble. Everybody's playing for the NBA when they played at Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's there. Is that you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage that everybody's that close to each other?
I think it's probably an advantage because there's no travel, no flights. You don't have to worry about that stuff. I mean, it's a 15-minute drive anywhere to go to these games. I mean, probably max 15 miles to any stadium, because I think it's almost like a hub. So I think it's gonna be all right there. So I think it's a little bit of an advantage.
Travel has been. I'm talking now about fans. Travel has not been difficult, although there has been a few little hiccups along the way. But Qatar desperately wants fans to come and to enjoy themselves. So it's been pretty good, and I think from a ticket, this is one of those things when the country is so rich, they really don't care about the tickets. Rather you just come, and they're like,
we're gonna see too, because a lot of there's videos of the fans, but they're all like. It was like migrant workers and stuff dressed up as, I mean, you could tell they weren't like Brazilian and stuff. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that stuff. But, look, I mean, it's tough because there's all this stuff around it. And, it's
Well, I know my brother was part of the coverage team in Brazil, and he told me when he got back, he said, I don't know whose idea it was to build a stadium in the rainforest. Whoever it is, whoever came up with that idea, because I want to meet them because I want to get my hands around their throat.
Yeah, putting this, and it was so far outside of everything else. I mean, when the games in Manaus, I mean, it was just why? I understand you want to. It's a celebration of the thing, but you gotta. I don't know.
It was like 2.5 hours to get there, and and the roads were horrible. So it's like if it's raining in the rainforest, there's a stunner. That's like it's raining in England. Of course it's raining. But yeah, it was not exactly genius. I do think as we discussed earlier with Qatar, I think they did make a very wise and strategic move by keeping the stadiums within a reasonable short period place around. I mean, the country itself is not that big, but it really did, I think, was quite a good idea for them to keep them closed.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, Bill. Good to see Bill McDonald. Hey
Bill, futures like highest scoring group, lowest scoring group. Yeah, but I mean, Bill, I was going through those today. I think. Let me pull this up for you, Bill, because I'll tell you what I wrote. Super Bowl props. World Cup props. So I have, Bill. I think, to me, there's a couple.
Thank you, Bill.
There's a couple. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting to lead Cameroon in goals plus 250. I mean, he's just up against Vincent Aboubakar, so he should lead the team in goals. There's a top goal scorer. The guy that wins the goal scoring doesn't always come from the team that wins the tournament. Sometimes it comes from a team that has an easier group. Mitrovic, who plays for Fulham right now, is plus 7,000. If Serbia can get to the knockout rounds and even to the quarterfinals, which they might, if they get through as second place, they'll probably face Portugal, which I think they could win that game. I don't know if they will, but if he plays 5 games and gets 6 goals at plus 7,000, that's crazy money. Like, I'm not telling you to go bet $1,000 on it, but I would throw a couple bucks on it. I think that's a decent value play. Yeah, no problem.
You know what? That might be the one where if you get one of those deals with BetMGM or
free bet or something like that.
Yeah, where they give you bet insurance. One of the things I've always told people is that's where you take your future bet and put it in that, because that way you're, if they'll accept it. Some of them don't. Some of them just want you to do the one. But if you can get that insurance or that deal, that would be a deal to take.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Bill, they got number of goals scored by Mitrovic in the competition. I mean, over 1.5 is a great play on him. The team markets, a team like Serbia to get out of the group is plus 250 to lose in the round of 16, plus 650 to lose in the quarterfinals. If you think they get out of the group, that's pretty good. Same with the U.S. Those are about the same prices for the U.S. I think the U.S. gets out of their group. So highest scoring group, I would probably look at. You want to look at the one where you have a combination of good nines, and then maybe there's a really bad team in there that's going to get blown out by a couple teams. And maybe non-defensive like Spain, Germany, Japan, Costa Rica. I'm not looking at that group because 2 of those teams are going to play. It's going to be like Costa Rica's games. Every game, they want every game to be 0-0. So probably get rid of that. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, Canada might be a decent, because I don't know how good Canada is. Everybody's all hyped about Canada, but they could stink.
Why?
Yeah, it's why do they stink?
No, why are they hyped?
They won CONCACAF qualifying.
Yeah.
Any kinds of interesting props. Yeah, they won. They beat the U.S. and Mexico. So, but I just think that was a little fluky. The group with Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon, because a couple of those teams could beat Cameroon up a little bit. Some of the Argentina to make the semifinals. You can back the winners of there's a couple, back the lowest scoring continent, South America. I don't know, because I think Brazil and Argentina are going to make the semi. I think Brazil and Argentina make the semifinals, and I think one of those makes the finals. So they're going to play 7 games, 7 and 6. That's 13 games right away. I think Ecuador has a chance to get through. Let's see, who's the other team? Who's the other team? Oh, Uruguay. Uruguay probably gets through, and they have Darwin Nunez. I don't think that's the low. Could be Africa. Because if Senegal doesn't go through and Ecuador does, I don't think Tunisia goes through. I don't think Morocco goes through, although there's a chance Morocco in Group F to finish in the top 2 is plus 200. That's not a horrible bet. I don't think Morocco goes through, and I don't think Cameroon goes through. So if you have all 4 of those teams out, that's only 12 games. So it could be Africa there, lowest scoring. When you're trying to do some things like that, you want to try to figure out, like, in your head, like, who do you have? Like, obviously it won't be Europe, and that for me, South America is probably the teams that are going to get through to the furthest in the tournament as well. Like, I don't really see any Asian teams getting deep in the tournament. I don't really see any CONCACAF teams. Costa Rica might not score a goal in the tournament. Mexico's a mess. They want to win every game 1-0. So now you're relying on Canada and the U.S. It could be North America. So you're trying to find those different things. If these teams are all going to get knocked out early, you want to kind of look for that. So
I like the thought you just brought up, and that was North America. They're not going to be – North America is not going to score a lot of points, a lot of goals. I think they're going to be, like you said, they're going to be close games.
Costa Rica doesn't want to. Costa Rica legitimately wants every game to be 0-0. So I mean, those games. I mean, they could get through with 3-0 draws, and then get to the thing. I mean, remember in 2014 they almost made a semifinal doing that, getting the penalties and stuff. But
back in the day, and we're talking into the back in the 80s, right? That was Italy. Italy's whole thing was let's play defense and just. They used to drive people nuts by playing that way.
Yep. Yeah, and I think there's going to be more stuff leading up to the actual games. I think the futures. Caesars has a real good one. Name the finalists: Brazil and France plus 1,600. I think that's like really big time. A big time Group H, lowest scoring group. Group H. What's that? Portugal, Uruguay, Ghana, South Korea, maybe. It's an interesting play. Some of these teams, you have team to reach final. Look for odds boosts. Obviously, there's gonna be some odds boosts. Netherlands, Spain, France, and Croatia each to win a group. No, because that's not gonna be. Croatia's not winning that group. Look for some that maybe. You could even do some parlays with some. So, but to qualify. You want to try to, like, for me, I want to limit the futures as much as possible. I want to try to find futures that I can win. Like, if that makes sense. This is Bill. I think this is kind of why you're asking this. Like, I'm going to throw some money on Brazil and France, but the other futures, like I'm trying to win the futures. Like I'm trying to find ones that offer the best value, but are like, to me, are locks.
You don't want to play. I mean, this is not where you play. Where you're taking a flyer on something.
Yeah, because I'm gonna. I mean, when I want, in the last World Cup. I racked up, like I hit everything I bet hit. It was crazy. I bet France to win the World Cup, but I had bet them in 2017 after the Euros, after I saw them lose the Euros and they dominated the game. I said they're going to win. But most of the stuff I racked up live betting the games while I'm watching it, or betting before the game, or doing parlays or whatever. So I kind of want to stay fluid like that. Like, it's good to have stuff wrapped up. It's good to have some of these futures as well, because it keeps you interested through the whole tournament and stuff. But I like to target games, and we talked about this too. It's like the NCAA board. When you look at the NCAA board today, there's 800 games. every night. But you can't do that. You got to find, one game or 2 games or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of how I do it.
Well, and you're looking for value, and
Yes.
and that's that you're going to find. You can definitely find value. Unsolicited. I'll throw this out there. We talk always about having a lot of college sports fans. There is a free app that is owned by Learfield, and they do a lot of the games for colleges. And it's an amazing app. It's free. You can download it for your phone to listen to the games, and it's called the Varsity app, VARST. Just easy to get. Go to your app store or to iPhone, Google Play or the app store on your iPhone. Download it. It's got games from from the very smallest schools all the way up to the top schools. And so if you're a big fan of college games on radio, you can get it, and it's a free app. So check it out. It's called
I
Varsity.
downloaded that Mountain West app the other day, and
did you?
Looking around it. Yeah, because
You like it?
yeah, it's cool because I think a lot of these apps, you get you got to pay for stuff, and I think that's cool because you get free games. So
it's I'm putting it out up there. It's now there you go. It's the Varsity app. The one you're talking about is, and you can download it to your phone or to your tablet, or if you've got Roku or a Fire Stick or something, you can get that. You can get the Mountain West. They've got a good app. So does Sunbelt. So does Conference USA if you're into that. There's another one. Let me think here for a second.
I was talking lunch money plays. Do you like Ecuador opening day? Yeah, Bill. I think I do. I like Ecuador a lot. The line's changed though. It's going up. But yeah, I think that's good. I mean, if you can make just as much money on the futures really betting less than you can on the games betting more because the odds are so good. And there's definitely some we're going to be talking about that. And then tonight with Amadeus, Bill, we'll be on at 9:00 tonight. We're going to be going through some of these groups, and we'll have we're gonna have Paul Hurst on from the Times either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, waiting just to hear back from him to see what he's going to talk about. He's going to run the rule over the tournament. So, but I think there's some things that you can, you can bet on teams to reach the quarterfinals. I think that offers you really good value with some of these. I mean, if you can parlay a couple together, which sometimes some books will let you, and some won't. It's not bad, but to have a team like Portugal at even money, to have a team like Belgium at even money, to have a team like Denmark at plus 200, Serbia at plus 450. Look, there's definitely some value here to be had. So. Is
Group B England US, or is it Group B England Wales, or what are you looking at?
I think England US. But U.S. usually qualifies when they get there. They actually do pretty well.
They show up. Yeah.
I'm not sure how good this Wales team is, to be honest. I mean, they don't score a lot of goals. I think USA is a little more talented than them. But,
U.S. needs to get out and get a win quick.
They can't lose. If they lose the first game, it's over. So they won't qualify. But if they win or draw's not the worst thing ever. If they win, obviously, I think they go through. So,
yeah. And England opens with Iran, so that's like we said, that could be a trap game, or it could be a game that everybody who's following England here expects them to win, and we'll see how that plays out. But there's what was I going to say? I'm going to put it in put it in the chat.
Bill, are you talking about Capital Sports? or some of these other ones that he's posting here. Capital Sports. I started as a YouTube channel a few years ago to stream games and stream high school games and stuff, and it's kind of taken off a little bit this year. It took off last year during the thing because the high school kids, I don't know if you were watching last week, you saw the high school kids on here talking about Conti's pizza and stuff. But,
Right. Yeah.
they've taken to the network, and they're very they love it. So, and there's a website. Yeah, I have a website built. I haven't posted a lot on there, but everything kind of I had all this stuff around for a long time, and I just didn't really do much with it. And the opportunity kind of came up to stream some games, and then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a second, why don't we do some shows, and and then talk to Jim about doing some stuff, and we're
building a network.
Yeah,
to build. We want you to come to the network.
There's going to be a lot of different stuff. So
yeah, check it out. Talk Sports. It's the only commercial radio station that is sports related in England, and you can hear it here in the States on. You can again. There are a number of apps that have it, but you can just, even if you want to stream it on your phone or your iPad or whatever, it's good, and it's a good place to listen. So worthwhile. Bill send me an email at what's okay. That's
yeah. I just so
Yeah. So we have all kinds of fun stuff going on.
Yeah. We're gonna have all different. Yeah, look, I'll get you a schedule. We're going to have different stuff. There's going to be, obviously Amadeus, who's been so big over there on Max Wagers with me. Like he's real interested in stuff. And we got
Amadeus is fun. He's
Mike Ortiz, who's been doing stuff for a while. There's a lot of people that are interested in doing stuff. So, we'll have we'll have all kinds of programming for people. Maybe we'll even do like a Friday night dance party or something like that, where we'll play some music in the background and watch a college basketball game or something like this. So
do some what we like to call the business. Do some watch parties.
Yeah, I've always been in. You know what? Like it's funny because I've always been interested in doing like a like my buddy's the DJ at Sirius on Shade 45, DJ Caesar. And I've always been interested in like playing my music for like, hey, come watch it. We're gonna listen to some music and thing. Although on YouTube you can't do it because you get the copyright.
I was gonna say you get copyright smash.
Yeah. So we got to figure out, like, we got to get maybe somebody on to do like their own. Have a free.
They have their own techno music.
Yeah, have his own freestyle or something like this, and do it. But I mean, just
I have friends at Blue Magic, which is Blue Magic is a movie company in Brooklyn, but they constantly are being bombarded by bands who play their own stuff. And, we may just invite them to drop by for
Bill. Yeah, it's okay, man. I know I got crushed that day. I know how it is. It's brutal, man, when you just you think something's going to happen and you see there. I mean, the Manchester, talk about the Premier League games this weekend. I don't know if you watched that. Brentford was plus 1,600 at the start of that game, and really kind of took it to City, but scored in the 97th minute. Manchester United scored in the 93rd. I had a parlay yesterday. It was Manchester City, AC Milan. Who else was it? The Chiefs and the 49ers. So I know AC Milan scored in the 91st minute. United scored in the 93rd minute with an 18-year-old kid scoring.
Mhm.
The Chiefs, I didn't even know what the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs won easily. I
They
didn't even.
did, yeah.
And then that game at night, I sitting there, should I cash shots? I do this stuff, and I'm like, I'm watching it, and like it was I never thought the 49ers weren't gonna win, even though like the score is real close. I always thought they were in control of the game, if that makes sense. But like, so I just get these weird, I'm real streaky with stuff. I just have feelings about some games, and I say, look, I just feel like this is going to be a high scoring game, and it ends up playing out. But that the Freiburg Union Berlin. I think a lot of times when I talk about soccer, I go on the show on By the Book, and they have me on as a college basketball guest, and they're like, yeah, we saw you pick college basketball, so you're our expert now. And I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And I don't even remember picking college. I say, but I'm pretty good at it because,
Right.
once again, it's hard games. But, they'll ask me about like baseball sometimes. And I'm like, look, I'm the wrong person to ask. I can't, I don't watch enough games or whatever. So, but, if I watched it, I could probably figure it out. Like I obviously played in college. I'm pretty good at it. So.
It's funny with regards to what was going on with in Germany yesterday at Bayern Munich Stadium.
Yeah,
Brady loved the thing where the fans kept singing songs through the entire game. They're singing "Sweet Caroline" and they're singing "Country Rose," and everybody's having a great old time. So
it's great to go to games over there. It's
right.
It's so amazing going to games over there, and it's even fun. The football. I mean, I don't know. Have you been to the baseball games when they played over there?
No, that was. Although I did have friends who went to the baseball games in Australia, and they went nuts. They said they had to, because they played on cricket fields in Australia.
Yep.
And people went nuts. They loved it. And
they played at West Ham when they played it. Thing, and it was just like the same thing. Like my guy Randy Miller from NG.com went, and he was talking to Raheem Sterling, and they had a lot of the people there to see it because it's new. I mean, they have rounders,
sure,
the same, and I think England is pretty. If it's big over here, like England, it'll be big in England because it translates. I think so. Basketball is getting big there. Football, NFL is obviously big. Of course, soccer.
Well, David Stern did such an amazing job worldwide of marketing basketball, and I'll never forget when he was in Barcelona with this, with the dream team, and they said, "What what would be your perfect scenario in 10 years?" And David said that we would come here and lose with the same type of team. And people looked at him like he's crazy. And he said, it benefits us if the world catches up to us.
Yes.
And we see now what his point was. And that was, basketball has grown FIBA, which is, the basketball version of FIFA. They have a Champions League, and they have fantastic basketball over there, and that's the tournament every year over there. It just keeps getting better and better, and sometimes there's kids from the United States that go over there and play, and find their way back, and sometimes it's that places like that's where Dirk Nowitzki and guys like that came from, Paul Gasol, and they played in Europe and benefited greatly from it.
Bill's asking about Chris King, who used to be on the Max Wages. Bill, I just saw him in a meeting the other day. I think he was there. We had a meeting for one of the places.
I'll tell you what, you can find Chris at Betting Royalty. I'm sorry, Betting Royalty.
There you go.
He's on Betting Royalty on Twitter. And you know what, Bill? He will love you if you follow him and ask him questions. There's nobody who enjoys answering questions on Twitter more than Chris. So by all means, check him out on Twitter.
He's the parlay guy, right?
Yeah, he's the.
That's the first show I went on when I went on to Max Rangers. Yeah, he was Bill. He was 100% on there in that meeting of the day. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's kind of down to earth. Sometimes like you talk to some of these guys and it's you never know what you're gonna. I mean, people are. It's not just betting, obviously. You never know with people, but yeah, he's really cool guy. Nice.
I spent about 5 months with Chris doing the shows, and he's a really sweet guy. So if you need to find him, not a problem. Just find him at Betting Royalty on Twitter, and be sure to ask him questions because he loves questions. And I will tell you this, Chris, there's probably not anyone in that particular area that does more research than Chris. If you want to read, I mean, he writes tons of stuff for winners and whiners, and we're talking very, very detailed. I've always been impressed with Chris's ability to literally give you so much information. It's just phenomenal.
He's got some crazy parlays too, like plus 10,000. I mean, like I remember, I forget what it was during baseball season. I think 2 weeks in a row we hit like 2 plus 10,000 parlays, like back-to-back weeks, and just for like crazy. I mean, if you throw, you're not talking about you have to throw a lot of money on that. You throw $50 on there, you're winning like a lot of money.
Well, he would hit 2, 4, 6, 8, even hit 10 twice when we used to do the show, and he was a character. Yeah, so yeah, Betting Royalty at Betting Royalty is Chris. So check him out. Be sure to find him. Yeah, he's worth checking out. Any final thoughts, my friend, as we get going here?
I'm just all again, it's starting to, the stuff has been released now. The World Cups, the teams the leagues are done. I think I said this, but like I can't, like I don't really care about the World Cup until today because Manchester United played yesterday. Manchester United played Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. I really don't. I'm a Manchester United first. So now that Manchester United's done until December 22nd, now my focus goes to this, and the other stuff, college basketball and everything. I pay attention, but it's all about this World Cup starting next week. So.
Well, Bill and the rest of y'all, come on back tomorrow, and we will check on some more. Now, in the show box below, down there, do something for us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, share it. That'd be great if you could do that. Also, in the show box is Sean's NJ.com link. So all the stuff he does on NJ.com is down there. And also, we've been talking about the FIFA World Cup bracket challenge. It's the link to the bracket challenge is down there as well. So if you want to play that, that would be good too. All right. So all that's in the show box below, as well as the times we're on, no matter where you are in the country or around the world. Okay. All right. So cool. So tomorrow, 3:00, same time, same station, and right here on, of course, the Capital Network, Capital Sports Network. Got to get it right there. All right, buddy. Until tomorrow, be well, and we will see you. Take care, everybody.
See you tomorrow.